She smirked during an argument. "The baby isn't yours and you can't do anything about it." I said, "Okay." She didn't know I was recording everything. Then I sued her for paternity fraud. When the judge heard the tape, her smile vanished as she was ordered to repay $50,000 with interest, leaving her bankrupt. I, 33 male, am sitting here in my apartment looking at a paternity test result that just blew up my entire life. But weirdly, I'm calm. Maybe it's shock. Maybe it's because I already knew. My wife, 29, and I have been married for 5 years. We have a daughter who just turned 4. Had a daughter. God, I don't even know how to say this anymore. Things started feeling off about 6 months ago. My wife got real secretive with her phone, started working late a lot, became distant. Classic signs, right? But I trusted her. Idiot move on my part. 3 weeks ago, we had a massive fight. She wanted to take our daughter to visit her mom for 2 weeks and I said no because I'd already requested time off work to spend with our kid. She lost it, started screaming about how I was controlling, how I never let her do anything. All this stuff that came out of nowhere. Then she said something that made my blood freeze. "You know what? Maybe I should just tell you the truth. Maybe then you'd back off." "What truth?" I asked. She got this look on her face. This smirk like she'd been waiting to drop a bomb and was finally getting her chance. "The baby isn't yours and you can't do anything about it." I just stared at her. My phone was in my pocket and I'd started recording the fight earlier when she began yelling. My lawyer cousin had told me to always document stuff when things got heated with a spouse. Best advice ever. "What did you just say?" I needed her to repeat it for the recording. "You heard me. She's not your biological daughter. I got pregnant by someone else and you've been raising her like the idiot you are. And legally, you can't do anything. You signed the birth certificate. You're on the hook." The smugness, the absolute audacity of saying this out loud and thinking she'd won. "Okay." I said just that. "Okay." She looked confused for a second like she expected me to explode or cry or something. "That's it. Just okay." "Yeah. Okay." I walked into our bedroom, grabbed my already packed go bag I'd been preparing for the worst for weeks, and left. Went straight to my buddy's place. First thing I did was call my lawyer cousin, played him the recording. He went quiet for a long moment. "Holy, she actually admitted it on recording." "Yeah. And you're in a one-party consent state?" "Yeah. Dude, she just handed you the nuclear option." Spent the weekend researching. Turns out my state is one of the few that allows for paternity fraud lawsuits. If you can prove fraud, you can sue for reimbursement of child support and expenses. It's not common. Courts don't like it, but it exists. Monday morning, I went to a lab and got a paternity test. Took 4 days to get results. 0% probability of paternity. I stared at that paper for an hour. 4 years. 4 years of loving this kid, changing diapers, staying up with her when she was sick, teaching her to ride her little tricycle, and none of it was real. Not the way I thought it was. But here's the thing. I'm not going to be the victim here. She thought she could trap me, mock me, keep me paying for another man's kid while she did whatever she wanted. She thought wrong. Update 1. 2 weeks later, the divorce papers were filed 6 days after I got the test results. My wife didn't expect that. I think she genuinely believed I'd just accept it, that I'd keep playing dad and husband while she did whatever. Nope. I hired a real attorney, not just my cousin. A family law specialist who'd handled paternity fraud cases before. Cost me $5,000 retainer, but worth every penny. My wife got served at her mom's place. She'd taken our daughter, her daughter, and gone there after I left. According to the process server, she screamed at him for 10 minutes. That afternoon, my phone started blowing up. Her mom called me 17 times in an hour. I didn't answer. Then came the texts. "How dare you abandon your family? That baby needs her father. You're a coward. We will take everything from you." I screenshot everything. Sent it to my lawyer. Then my wife called from her mom's phone. I blocked her number. I answered, "You actually filed for divorce? Are you insane? You told me the kid isn't mine. Why would I stay married to you?" I was angry. I didn't mean it. "You know she's yours. So, you were lying then or you're lying now? Which is it?" Silence. "I'm filing the paternity test with the court and I'm suing you for paternity fraud." "You can't do that. That's not a real thing. It is in this state. My lawyer says we've got a solid case. You admitted on recording that you committed fraud. That's evidence." More silence. Then her voice changed. Got real soft and manipulative. "Baby, please think about our daughter. She loves you. You're her daddy. Don't do this to her. She's not my daughter. You made that very clear." I made a mistake. I was upset. "Please, we can work this out. I'll go to counseling, whatever you want. See you in court." I hung up. Block that number too. 2 days later, I got a call from my soon-to-be ex-wife's lawyer. Some guy who sounded like he just graduated law school yesterday. Sir, my client is willing to agree to an amicable divorce if you drop this paternity fraud claim." "No, sir, You should know that these cases rarely succeed. The courts prioritize the child's best interests, and the court can prioritize whatever it wants. I've got her on recording admitting fraud. We're going forward. My client maintains that she made those statements under duress and emotional distress. They don't reflect reality. Then she can submit to another paternity test ordered by the court. I'll agree to that. Long pause. I'll discuss with my client. He called back 6 hours later. She refused the court-ordered test. My lawyer laughed when I told him. She just admitted guilt without admitting guilt. Beautiful. The divorce proceedings started getting messy. She wanted the house, my house that I'd owned before marriage, half my retirement account, full custody of the child, and $2,200 a month in child support. Her lawyer filed a motion claiming I was the legal father regardless of biology because I'd established a parental relationship and acted as father for 4 years. Legally, he wasn't wrong. That's a real thing. Courts don't like breaking established parent-child bonds, even when there's no biological connection. But here's where the recording came in clutch. My lawyer submitted it as evidence of fraud. The judge ordered a court-supervised paternity test. My wife tried to refuse. The judge made it clear. Submit to the test or lose credibility entirely. Test came back. 0% probability of paternity. Official court document. The judge's face when he read that report. Man, he looked at my wife like she just kicked a puppy. Hearing was 3 days ago. That's when things got really interesting. My wife showed up in a conservative dress, hair pulled back, looking like she was going to church, playing the victim card. Her mom was there too, glaring at me like I was Satan himself. Her lawyer made his case. Despite the biology, I was the legal father. I'd signed the birth certificate. I'd acted as father. The child knew me as daddy. Breaking that bond would traumatize her. They wanted me to continue paying support and have supervised visitation only, meaning I'd pay but barely see her. My turn. My lawyer played the recording in the courtroom. Out loud. Her voice crystal clear. The baby isn't yours. I got pregnant by someone else and you've been raising her like the idiot you are. The judge's face went from professional neutral to barely concealed disgust. My wife's lawyer tried to object, claiming emotional distress, but my lawyer had already filed the authentication paperwork. One party consent state legal recording. Then my lawyer presented the financial breakdown. 4 years of expenses, medical bills during pregnancy, $400 and $200. My insurance covered most, but I paid deductibles. Hospital delivery, $2,800. My portion after insurance. Child care for first 2 years, $24,000. Diapers, formula, clothes, toys, roughly $8,000. Medical insurance, adding her to my plan, $3,600. MISC expenses, birthday parties, etc. $3,400. Total approximately $46,000. Plus, we were requesting interest at the state legal rate, 6% annually from the date of birth. With interest $52,880, her lawyer tried to argue that I'd given these as gifts, that I'd willingly acted as father. My lawyer, Your Honor, my client acted under fraudulent pretenses. He believed he was supporting his biological child. The defendant knowingly deceived him and induced him to provide financial support under false pretenses. That's textbook fraud. The judge asked my wife directly, "Ma'am, did you know at the time of the child's birth that your husband was not the biological father?" She started crying, didn't answer. "Ma'am, I need you to answer the question." Her lawyer whispered something to her. I wasn't sure. It could have been either. Either who? She wouldn't answer that. The judge ordered a recess, told both sides to work out a settlement. Her lawyer pulled mine aside, offered to drop all her divorce demands except splitting the house equity 50-50 if I drop the fraud claim. My lawyer counteroffer. She gets nothing from the divorce except her personal belongings and she pays back $30,000 of the fraud claim over 5 years. Otherwise, we go to trial and ask for the full amount plus legal fees. Her lawyer went pale. Went to talk to my wife and her mom. Came back 20 minutes later. They rejected it. Wanted to go to trial. Fine by me. Update 2. 6 weeks later. Trial happened last week. It was brutal. First day was mostly procedural stuff, but my wife's lawyer tried to paint me as a deadbeat who was abandoning my daughter for petty revenge. Called me selfish, heartless, said I was traumatizing a child who done nothing wrong. He wasn't wrong about the trauma part. That kid is innocent in all this. But I'm not the one who caused this situation. My lawyer's opening was simple. This is a case of fraud. The defendant knowingly deceived my client about the paternity of a child, induced him to provide financial support under false pretenses, and only revealed the truth when confronted. This is not about the child. This is about holding someone accountable for fraud. Day 2. They called my wife to testify. She played victim hard, cried on the stand, talked about how scared she was to tell me the truth, how she wasn't sure about paternity, how she'd hoped I was the father, her lawyer. "And did you ever intend to defraud your husband?" "No. I loved him. I made a mistake and I didn't know how to fix it. Cross-examination was beautiful, my lawyer. Ma'am, you testified that you weren't sure about paternity. Did you consider getting a paternity test before putting my client's name on the birth certificate? I know. Why not? I don't know. You don't know or you didn't want to know. Objection. Badgering. Sustained. Rephrase. Ma'am, you had an affair, correct? It wasn't an affair. We were separated. Were you legally separated? Had you filed separation paperwork? Well, no. But so you were still married and living with my client? Yes. And you had sexual relations with another man during this time? Yes. And you didn't tell my client about this? No. And when you became pregnant, you allowed my client to believe he was the father. I thought he might be, but you also thought the other man might be. Yes. And you didn't think my client had a right to know this? Silence. Ma'am, I'll play the recording again. No, fine. I knew he probably wasn't the father. Okay. I knew. And I didn't say anything because I wanted my marriage to work. The courtroom went dead quiet. Her lawyer looked like he wanted to crawl into the table. My lawyer. So, you knowingly deceived my client for 4 years. She started crying again. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I just wanted a family at my client's expense. I'll pay him back. I'll get a job. I'll figure it out. You told my client. And I quote, you can't do anything about it. Did you not? I was angry. I didn't mean you didn't mean it. Or you didn't mean for him to have proof. Objection. Withdrawn. No further questions. They called her mom next. Big mistake. Her mom testified that I was a controlling, abusive husband who drove her daughter to seek comfort elsewhere. Cross-examination. Ma'am, did you ever witness me being abusive to your daughter? Well, no. But she told me. Did you personally witness any abuse? No. Did your daughter ever call the police on me? No. Ever get a restraining order? No. Ever go to the hospital for injuries I caused? No. But emotional abuse. Ma'am, yes or no? Did you know your daughter was pregnant by another man when she allowed my client to believe he was the father? He told me she wasn't sure who the father was. And you didn't think she should tell my client this? I told her to. But she was afraid. Afraid of what? That he'd leave her. So, she lied to keep him trapped in the marriage. That's not your twisting my words. I'm using your words. No further questions. Her lawyer tried to call character witnesses who'd testify about what a good dad I'd been trying to prove I should keep paying support regardless of biology. My lawyer objected. This isn't a custody case, Your Honor. This is a fraud case. My client's quality as a parent is irrelevant to whether fraud occurred. Judge agreed. They rested their case after 2 days. Our turn. My lawyer called a forensic accountant who'd gone through every expense related to the child, every receipt, every bill, every insurance claim, documented everything. Then he called me. I testified about the affair suspicions, the fight, the recording, the aftermath. Kept it factual, unemotional, let the facts speak. My wife's lawyer tried to rattle me on cross. Sir, do you love the child you raised for 4 years? I love who I thought she was, but she's not my daughter. You're really going to punish an innocent child because you're angry at your wife? I'm not punishing anyone. I'm seeking reimbursement for fraud. You don't think taking money from her mother will affect her? Her mother should have thought about that before committing fraud. So, you feel no obligation to this child? I feel the same obligation any stranger would. She's not mine. You can really just turn off 4 years of fatherhood. I looked him dead in the eye. Her mother turned it off for me the second she admitted the truth. She's the one who destroyed that relationship, not me. No further questions. Closing arguments happened yesterday. Her lawyer went hard on the think of the child angle. Talked about how I was legally the father regardless of biology. How the law protects established parent-child relationships. How I was being vindictive. My lawyer's closing. The defendant committed fraud. She knew or reasonably should have known that my client was not the biological father. She concealed this information for 4 years. She induced my client to provide substantial financial support under false pretenses. And when confronted, she admitted it gleefully. This is not a custody case. This is not about a child. This is about whether someone can commit fraud and escape accountability because a child is involved. If we allow that, we're saying fraud is acceptable as long as there's a child in the picture. That can't be the standard. Judge said he'd issue a ruling in 2 weeks. That was yesterday. Now I wait. Final update, 2 months later. The ruling came down 3 weeks ago. I've been processing it before posting this update. Judge ruled in my favor. Here's what he ordered. 1. Divorce granted with no assets to my wife. I keep the house, my retirement, everything. She gets her personal belongings only. 2. I am not the legal father. My name is to be removed from the birth certificate. I have no custody, no visitation, no obligations. 3. My wife is ordered to pay restitution of $52,880 for paternity fraud, the $46,000 base plus interest. 4. Payment plan, $750 a month for 7 years with the balance due immediately if she misses 2 consecutive payments. 5. She's responsible for her own legal fees around $15,000. The courtroom was silent when he read the decision. My wife started crying. Her mom started yelling at the judge about how this was unfair, how he was destroying a family. Bailiff had to escort her out. Her lawyer tried to appeal. Motion was denied. Judge said the evidence was overwhelming, and the law was clear. Here's where it gets interesting. My wife works part-time retail, makes maybe $22,000 a year. She can't afford $750 per month. Her mom's on a fixed income. Her dad passed away years ago. 2 weeks after the judgment, she filed for bankruptcy, tried to discharge the debt. My lawyer filed an objection. In our state, debts resulting from fraud can't be discharged in bankruptcy. Judge agreed. She stuck with it. She's moved back in with her mom full-time. Had to sell her car to make the first few payments. Her mom's furious, blaming me for destroying them financially. I got a few nasty messages from her family members. Her brother called me and threatened to beat my ass if I didn't drop the judgment. I reported it to the police, got a restraining order. The kid, man, that's the hard part. I haven't seen her since I left. Her mom took her straight to grandma's and I haven't been around. According to mutual acquaintances, she keeps asking where I am. Breaks my heart. But what am I supposed to do? I'm not her father. Her biological father is apparently some guy my wife worked with who wanted nothing to do with the kid when she told him. So that kid's got no dad now. Not because of me, because her mom lied. Some people think I'm in for this, that I should have just sucked it up and kept being her dad, that the kid shouldn't suffer for her mom's mistakes. And yeah, that kid is suffering. I feel terrible about that, but I didn't cause this. I'm not the one who lied for 4 years. I'm not the one who committed fraud. My wife had 1,000 chances to come clean. Before the birth, after the birth, any time in those 4 years, she chose to lie every single time. She chose this. As for me, I'm in therapy processing 4 years of my life that were built on a lie. It's weird. I still have muscle memory from being a dad. I see a kid fall down at the park and my instinct is to run help. I hear a kid crying and I look around for the parent. Takes a second to remember it's not my job anymore. My lawyer says the payments have been coming in on time so far. She's making them somehow. Probably her mom's helping. I moved to a smaller place, sold the house, couldn't be in that space anymore. Too many memories. Used the profit to pay off my legal bills and sock some away. Started dating a bit. Nothing serious. Hard to trust after this. Work's been good. Threw myself into it. Got a promotion actually. More money, more responsibilities. Keeps me busy. Someone asked me if I regret recording that conversation. Hell no. That recording saved my life. Without it, I'd still be paying for someone else's kid. Trapped in a marriage with a woman who thought I was an idiot. Do I regret how it affected the kid? Yeah. Every day. But I didn't have a choice. I couldn't keep living a lie. And I couldn't let my wife think fraud was consequence-free. Some people say the punishment doesn't fit the crime. That $52,880 is too harsh. I disagree. She took 4 years of my life. 4 years of believing I was building a family. 4 years of memories that are now tainted. 4 years of financial and emotional investment in something that was never real. $52,880 doesn't even cover that. But it's something. It's accountability. It's the law saying what you did was wrong and you have to make it right. That's all I wanted. Not revenge, just accountability. She smirked and said I couldn't do anything about it. Turns out I